Hello and welcome to the SEO Friday show on Wednesday with Barry Schwartz, eminent SEO reporter from SE Roundtable and Search Engine Land, and Josh Bachynski, SEO and ethicist. That's me. This week, by the way, so this is the SEO Friday show where we debate and discuss SEO issues and Google issues. And fair warning, we do this sarcastically and often facetiously. So don't take whatever we say too seriously, unless we say something important or intelligent, in which case take it seriously and unfacetiously or whatever. Anyway, hi, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing great.
So how should I take that? Are you really doing great?
No. That was facetious.
Okay.
That was both sarcastic and facetious. It's not summer anymore. Now it's getting rainy up here. You know, let me tell you. So this week, Mr. Schwartz had some issues he wanted to bring up and discuss and debate with myself. So I'll turn it over to Barry. Barry, what is it you want to discuss?
How far back should I go? To my childhood?
Yes, let's go back to your childhood. I can just imagine a little Barry running around, still the big goatee, still the floppy hair.
So I always got annoyed when teachers used to basically just test you on what's bold in the textbook. You know what I'm talking about? And they used to only pull out the words that are bold in the textbook. I used to always be able to pick up on that and then say, all right, all I got to do is read the bold words in the textbook and then I'll ace the test. And that segues into the first topic of structured snippets, where Google seems to be taking out bold elements from, not bold, but important facts from a specific website, and it's basically like a knowledge graph in, I guess, italics and bold directly in the snippet. So if you do a search for something, in the actual 10 blue links, whatever you want to call them these days, in the description under that, you'll actually see sometimes factual information from that website. So if you're doing a search for a specific product or for a specific person or event or something, yeah, Google might go ahead and pull out data from that website, that web page, saying these are the key facts of the web page, and hopefully that will satisfy your search and your query, and you won't have to actually click through. And
right,
when teachers used to just go ahead and pull out that information and not really make you really understand the actual concept, just like a Swiss Army knife type of concept, but not really understand how everything worked, it really bothered me because, anybody can read the bold and not fully understand the concept and just give you a definition. And now Google's kind of doing that. So it does bother me for a couple of reasons. One is it makes people dumber, but I guess that's the world we're living in these days. And two, the publisher is getting less and less of a benefit from actually writing unique and compelling content. All right, so that's the first tidbit of things that are bothering me today. It goes back to my childhood, like I said.
as everything does, Well, I'm not going to touch the childhood thing. I'm going to just skip right over the Freudian kind of analysis of your childhood. But just to play devil's advocate on this, I mean, Ambush is going to sound weird for me to just start defending Google, but that's what we do, is debate stuff here. On the one hand, yeah, definitely it's taking traffic away from websites who are doing the research and trying to find facts to put on the website to make the best website possible. But on the other hand, where did they get these facts? They got these facts from some website. It's just a chain of people copying website to website to website. So isn't it perfectly ethical, Barry, for Google to just be the final end of the chain and take the facts from some website just like someone else took a fact from a website and finally publish it on their site? Isn't it ethical, Barry, for them to make a search engine that is better for people and give them that darn Swiss Army knife so they can cut things or whatever? The metaphor breaks down. It's Singhall's metaphor. Yeah. No. Isn't it ethical, Barry? Isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, problem solved. Boom, next one.
Moving on. So that's the first topic, and obviously we like the show to move fast. So that was the first 5-minute segment. The next one is talking about private blog networks, PBNs. So I hear that back in your farm over there in Canada, that you have tons of these little private blog networks, PBNs, all around you.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard through the grapevine that maybe Google wasn't too happy with these farms, and they decided to go ahead and destroy them through some chemical warfare. And now you are no longer able to go ahead and, produce your crops, and thus you are actually now almost bankrupt and turning into that little dinosaur behind you and turning into a skeleton. From what I hear, like I said, is that that Google went ahead and did this. Google would not confirm it, although Matt Cutts decided to mock it a little bit. That a lot of these sites got thin content warnings and saw major drops in their rankings, as well as these PBNs saw a major de-indexation throughout their whole entire network or the Google search results. Have you seen this? Have you seen the crops start to like burn up in flames and just be destroyed?
Yeah, so I didn't know what was going on here, but so people have informed me that what happened is the private blog networks, a lot of them that Google could detect were de-indexed, and then all the money sites, these are generally for linking, you're right, private blog networks is what they were used for, although some of them would be money sites themselves, but usually they would all link up in a pyramid to your main money site, as it's called in ye olde black hat circles. So the private blogs, private blog network, the splogs, the spam blogs, they got de-indexed. The money sites got a thin content manual penalty in Webmaster Tools, and then any other sites that they're outlinking to, they all got a partial match link penalty, which I found interesting. Because they would use a partial match link penalty. It could be that maybe Google's not sure whether this is intentional black hat SEO or negative SEO, and so they only gave the outlinked sites a partial match link penalty to say, hey, we found some suspect links, but of course that doesn't actually demote you, it just removes those links from your link graph. And or Google's phishing. This is a giant phishing expedition. They found a bunch of private blog networks, and they're phishing for all the rest of the information. Because what I found out is that actually, hypothetically, the people I hypothetically know, who might theoretically be black hat, most of their private blog networks weren't found and weren't hit because they're not using any of the standard, they're not stupid, they're not using any of the standard things you would find. They're not serving on the same IP address, they're not serving on the same MAC address, they're not using the same CMS. They registered under a different fictitious name with different people on different registrars with different hosts, every single one. In fact, there's people out there who have services to do this. So there's none of the standard footprints to find, other than probably the content quality on these blogs is spammy. It's low quality, written as cheaply as possible. But that's a whole other issue. That's not necessarily the issue that's now a private blog network. Now it's only that conceptually. Now it's a bunch of spam blogs that whatever you want to say about that. So yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't really have much to say about it, to tell you the truth. What is your opinion on it?
No, I'm just interested to see the people who are running these private blog networks say, yes, we were massively de-indexed, but no, this is not the end of private blog networks, and we're going to come back better than ever. And then you have Matt Cutts going ahead and, I quote, saying, black hat SEO fads like walking in a dark alley packed with used car salesmen who won't show you their cars. Now, I understand why Matt wants to do that. One is obviously he's on retirement, so I don't think he actually knows the exact details of what happened. He read a story that makes black hat look bad. A lot of people wouldn't even classify this as black hat. But anyway, that's another point.
Wouldn't classify what is black hat?
Whatever. I don't know. That's another whole topic.
Wait a minute. Yeah, no, back to Matt's metaphor. I don't understand the metaphor. What? He's walking dark alleys where people are trying to sell him cars. They don't have any cars. I don't understand what this means.
What I think he's implying, I think it seems pretty straightforward, but obviously you're playing the whole devil's advocate thing. But they basically, like black hat SEOs who are selling low-grade services, quick fixes, stuff that work, very quickly, but then don't have a long-term effect. They're really selling you stuff that's smoke and mirrors, just like a used car salesman who's trying to sell you a car that you can't get your eyes on. It's kind of like a shady SEO. So that's his and he's people like you who offer real SEO, quality stuff. That is what he's. So it's great how he's very good with words, and he does it in a way that doesn't upset most SEOs, because most SEOs feel they're actually selling a quality service.
Well,
Unlike
yeah.
adding rich snippets to people's homepages.
Well, there's the funny thing is that a lot of white hat SEOs who think they're white hat SEOs are actually black hat SEOs because either they don't have the guidelines or they're still getting links for clients and they think that's perfectly legitimate, whereas getting any links for clients is not legitimate.
That's true. You cannot have any links pointing to your website, which is why Google released the disavow file, which basically lets you say disavow everything. And that works well. We've seen that work very well with, who's that guy who disavowed like 35 billion links? Yes, so he's in love with what after he did that. He's been very, very happy with the results. And he's
lost all his rankings. Yeah, he was very happy about that.
So it worked very well for him, and he recommends it. Everybody else should actually go ahead and disavow all the links to all their websites. Once you do that, then you're perfectly white hat, and you don't have to worry about any link penalties or any types of penguin penalties in the future.
Well, yes. I've discussed the virtues of the disavow file, although I was recently educated on that topic by John Mueller that the disavow file might actually be used. But it still doesn't make any sense because, speaking of Cyrus Shepard, he went and disavowed all of his links. And then when Penguin rolled out, he was severely demoted. He put back the disavow, he removed the disavow file, so he put back all his links. Penguin was released in October, and he still wasn't released. So there's a weird thing going on there. And then John Mueller said that the disavow file has been updated periodically from the last year, between now and when the last Penguin was out. But Cyrus Shepard still hasn't seen any recovery, which theoretically he should have. So there's still something fishy going on there with the disavow file. So I don't know. The jury's out. We need to do some more research on it. But okay, now forget all that. That is nothing compared to the issue I want to bring up now, which is, did you know, Barry, that you can buy a ranking in Google? They always said you could not buy a ranking, organic rankings, but you can. Want me to tell you how? Tell you the secret?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. On State of Digital website, they put out an article that talked about AdWords ranking factor for Google search, a patent that Google released. That basically states, according to this website, basically states that if you buy AdWords and people click on the AdWords result, and that AdWords result is also correlated with an organic search listing, that next time they go on and search for something related, your site will increase in the rankings. Vis-a-vis, the AdWords click is included in the entire personalization algorithm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I'm reading it now. So the abstract is basically saying a search engine implements a method for comprising receiving a search query and define the plurality of the articles relevant to the search query, determining the advertising data associated with the search query, and ranking the articles based at least in part of the advertising data. Now, even though they have a patent on it, and Matt Cutson said this, and if you believe what he says, which some people do, some people don't, he said even though there's a patent out there, it doesn't mean Google's using that. And
of course.
And if you believe also what Matt Cutson says, they would never ever touch advertising data, AdWords data, analytics data, and use that for their organic search rankings. And they keep that like a church and state separation between the ad team and the organic team.
Yes, but just to put our tinfoil hats on there a bit, I'm wondering, when I had a talk with Matt Cutts back in March, and he told me a bunch of things. One of the things he told me was that he was at a retreat, an executive retreat, with all the other execs. I think Larry Page and the Google AdWords CEO was there as well, discussing a very important issue. And I'm wondering, perhaps, if this was the issue they were discussing. Even more conspiracy theorist, get ready for this, I'm wondering, is this the reason why Matt Cutts went on extended leave, or an indefinite leave? Because he knew that as soon as Danny Sullivan caught wind, and the rest of the search community caught wind, that you can essentially buy rankings now. All you have to do is buy a really aggressive AdWords for a couple weeks and get tens of thousands of people to see it and click on it, and then their site will move up in the personalization for those people. So indirectly, you can buy rankings. Is this why he quit? Was he trying to avoid the wrath of the SEO community? Barry?
I honestly don't think so. I think he's just tired.
Tired of bullcrap like what I'm saying right now? Tired,
Yeah.
So?
I think so. No, I just think it's how many times can you say the same thing over and over again for the past 15 years to SEOs? SEOs are a hard bunch, and then there's obviously all these new SEOs that are constantly coming in, learning stuff from other SEOs who are no longer in the business, and just repeating the same thing, like PageRank and all this stuff, which is kind of annoying. And obviously Google's to blame for a lot of that. But yeah, I think
Google didn't want to have to keep re-educating SEOs. They shouldn't keep changing the rules. And they shouldn't make it difficult and put a bunch of SEOs in a business with their algorithms that they don't tell us the information about. They don't even tell us when it runs. They don't tell us when it runs or how it runs, so we know how to fix it. So a bunch of SEOs, the SEO community has been cleared out. Someone high up in internet marketing told me that the SEO was dead because all the SEOs have been cleared out because they all lost their jobs because they were either fired from allowing a panda or didn't know how to fix this or that. And they all got fired. They got turfed. So if Google didn't want to have to re-educate new SEOs, maybe they shouldn't have gone and done those things. What do you have to say about that, Barry?
We keep thinking about ourselves. They keep thinking about the searcher. So, I don't blame them for what they do. I do think they really do have the best intent for searchers and for everybody.
So who cares about searchers? I care about webmasters. I care about webmasters and SEOs. The users are not the people that Google needs to be concerned about. It's the webmasters' content they use. They keep telling us to make better content, and I ask, why? Why, Google? So you can scrape it and put it on your homepage so I don't get any credit for it?
That's what this show is all about. So there you go.
That's what I'm scraping content from, and I'm putting it on my homepage. I'm recruiting ideas.
I agree. I just don't think, specifically with this AdWords thing, that it's related to any organic ranking factor as of now. So,
well, I don't know. I think it's interesting that we even have, given that they're so philosophically opposed to conflicting organic search with AdWords, or at least making sure that those appear philosophically separate. Given that they're so have such a vested interest in doing that, I find it odd that they would even have a patent to that in that regard, to that degree. Why bother patent something that you're not going to use? Huh?
I didn't read it in detail. Did you read the whole thing?
Oh yes, in extreme detail. No, actually, I skimmed it. I skimmed this State of Digital article. That was the gist of it. That was the gist of the article. That was their synopsis of what this patent means. The patent's, of course, extremely vague.
But this dates back to 2003.
Oh. Well, I don't know. It came up on Twitter. Twitter didn't exist in 2003. How can that be from 2003?
I got to review it in detail, but I don't know if it's talking about AdWords. I mean, when was AdWords launched?
When was AdWords launched? AdWords is as old as time.
Yeah, so AdWords were released in 2000. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think anything. If this was the case, and I hear you saying they should have done a patent on it, I don't think they were worried about that back then. 2003 was a really different time for the SEO versus Google search wrap community. I don't think it works. So if it was working, everybody would buy AdWords. So, and people like you have probably never ever purchased an ad on Google.
No, never.
So there you go, and you guys know how to rank stuff, so without paying for ads. So if it did work, I guarantee you would be buying tons of AdWords. So
yeah, so people shouldn't pay Google for a listing on the front page. They should pay me for a listing on the front page.
Exactly. That's the lesson learned for today.
That sounds like a double standard. So Barry, do you have any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, I appreciate the therapy lessons. It helps a lot with the whole childhood issues.
Yeah, no problem. And how did it make you feel, those bolded words?
It makes me feel good, especially going into the new year, the Jewish New Year. So everybody who's celebrating Rosh Hashanah, definitely Happy New Year to you all.
Exactly. I don't know what that means, but right back at you. Mazel tovs.
Thank you.
All right, well, this has been the politically incorrect, extremely inappropriate, highly facetious, high degree of facetiosity SEO Friday show on Wednesday with Barry Schwartz and Josh Bachynski join us next week or next time where we may have a special guest. We're going to try and coerce Matt Cutts out of retirement to come and debate with us. Don't hold your breath. But we might have other special guests. So anyway, thanks for showing up and watching, those 10 people who did. And this will be on YouTube. You can watch it later. And please send us angry emails about everything that we said wrong and did wrong. And if there's any therapists out there, Barry clearly needs some therapy from various children, whereas I am perfectly pristine. Say bye, Barry.
Bye, Barry.
All right. Everyone, see you next week.